Alrighty, guys, welcome back to Jester's Judgment here as we talk about and rate and review Marvel Champions, the card game. This is the game, probably my number one most played game in the last couple years. I was fortunate enough to start into Marvel Champions when it first came out, started buying the boxes, the expansion packs, and everything. Take a little bit of a break and then go back and catch up on what I missed, buy a bunch of packs, do the same thing, wait a little while, pack up, get everything, So I haven't been getting everything every month or anything like that. I'd go 5-6 months and then go back and pick up everything. But anyways, I do own all the content for the game, everything that's created with it, which is a lot of content, a lot of expansion packs, a lot of big boxes, a lot of the big box expansions, little packs, you name it. I've got it all. I've played it a bunch in the last couple years, and we're gonna go through the pros, the cons, and then give you my verdict on what I think of the game. So let's start off, as we always do, with the pros, the 5 best things about Marvel Champions, the card game. So, number one, one of the best things about it is it's solo and multiplayer. You can play this solo, either one-handed or two-handed or three-handed or four-handed, whatever, however many-handed you wanted to do it. It also plays great multiplayer. So if you have friends and you want to sit down and play it, you can play it and it plays just as good. It is really well designed for both solo and multiplayer. The game actually plays against you, so it doesn't matter if you're playing with yourself or playing with your friends. It plays really good both ways. So that is obviously a very good plus, being able to play multiple ways with multiple different people or without multiple different people. Number 2, this is kind of the new, and I'm not even sure if it was the original idea of Marvel Champions or if they took this from another game. They probably did. But I really like the fact that your cards are resources. These are the cards you play to pay for the other cards in your hand. So you always have this tough decision. You have 5 or 6 cards in your hand, and you're looking at all these cards going, oh, I really like to play this one, but I want to play this one too, and I want to play this, and I want to play this one, but you can't play them all. You have to decide what you want to do. So it makes for tough decisions because the cards will have to go away to pay for other cards. So that is a great mechanic. It really puts tough decisions on the players. Oh, I'd really like to get this out, but I'm going to have to use this as a resource to pay for another card. And then that card you might not see the rest of the game. And that one opportunity you had goes by the wayside. Number 3, there is a lot of cards. As I mentioned, I've been through this ever since the beginning. I think they have somewhere in the neighborhood of 50 or 51 total heroes. There are 4 big box expansions plus the core box. There's hundreds and hundreds of cards. If you look at my core box, you can see that I've just got it lined up with just some of the heroes. This is just some of them. This is not even all of them. This is just some of the heroes that come in the game. You'd have to take another one of these boxes and add it together with those cards just to make it all of the different heroes. Like I said, I'm thinking there's probably 51, 52, 53 maybe by now, different heroes. Probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 30 some odd villains. You've got plenty of different side schemes. You've got environment cards. You've got all kinds of things. Tons and tons of cards for you to play with and look at and sort and sleeve and do all the fun things you like to do with your card games. So tons of cards if you have the whole package. Number 4 is the fact that when they started coming out with these, originally when it first came out, it was just like one-shots. You play it once and it's done. It's either win or lose. But then they started coming out with these expansion packs, which included linking campaigns So now you have something to play for because you're going to earn cards or earn rewards or do something that you can use to go on to the next scenario. And usually there are 4 to 5 linking scenarios where they introduce harder and harder and tougher bosses. So it makes you feel like you're progressing with your characters as well. So not that it's a role-playing game or anything like that, but it did add some more, you now care about these characters have beaten the 2 bosses. Can they go and beat this boss? Oh, it's so exciting. And so you have to really think about what you're doing and really min-maxing your decks and building everything. Because you're going through now, as opposed to one-shot, you're going through a link campaign. And the last best thing for the pros is, and I kind of talked about this a little bit in several of the others, number 2 and number 3 and number 4, is it gives you some tough choices because you have to decide which characters you're going to take through the campaign. Which cards are you going to add to your deck? There's thousands of cards. Which cards are you going to add to your 40-card deck? Which cards, as you're looking at your hand, which cards are you going to give up as resources to play other cards? So there's a lot of really tough choices that make it an interesting game for the players. And those are the kind of the 5 best things. There's other things that are nice about it. The quality of the components, the artwork on the cards is excellent. I would like to add that in. But obviously I just talk about the 5 best things, but art quality, always at Fantasy Flight you get top-notch art quality, and the components, and even the little health dials. I use these health dials for just about every game now because they're the right size and they're, you can see them very clearly and easily. So, a lot of really good components that you get with this game. Unfortunately, not everything is so rosy, though, my friends. No, there are cons. There's a lot of cons in this game. Do they outweigh the pros? Well, we're going to talk about that in the verdict. Right now, let's talk about the 5 worst cons when we're talking about Marvel Champions. All right, and this is, without a doubt, in my view, the most important con in the game. It's an LCG, living card game experience, and as the game grows and progresses, everything that was in the beginning kind of gets overshadowed by everything as it comes out and grows. Because they think of new ideas and they go, oh, you know what, we should add this to the game. Great, we'll add this to the game, and the new characters coming out will have all these new cool things. Unfortunately, because of Fantasy Flight and the way they do things, they don't go back and update anything that came out in the beginning because they don't see the need to support those characters anymore. It's all about the revenue from the characters that are coming out in the past. If they update She-Hulk, it's not going to drive any money revenue for Fantasy Flight. So they're not going to spend a lot of time trying to update She-Hulk. Now, if they can do like, one of the new heroes, Jubilee or Wolverine or one of the new X-Men that they just released, the new X-Men cycle, right? And they're coming out with all these new super cool characters. If they're boring and old, nobody's going to want to purchase them. So they make them all fancy dancy and all the new bells and whistles. And unfortunately, my favorite heroes, which are the Avenger heroes, were the ones that were originally released. And so those characters have kind of unfortunately been left behind in the dust with all the new stuff. So, 52 heroes. Thank you, Steven. I appreciate that. I do appreciate that. Including the 2 pre-orders. Okay, I knew they were around 50, 51, 52, somewhere around there. So thanks. I appreciate the help. So unfortunately, as a con for me, one of the biggest things is the fact that my loved heroes are kind of the ones that were originally in the game and slowly but surely through the years They don't get updated. They don't get the new power. They don't get all the new. I mean, if you look at some of the new heroes that are coming out in the X-Men cycle, and if you love X-Men, you're probably like, this is the greatest game ever. Oh my God, this is awesome. And no doubt, right? Because your heroes are getting the A+ treatment. But just wait in 2 years from now when your heroes are now like, oh, well, wait about me. What about my heroes now? Because they're done with the X-Men cycle and they moved on to the next group, of heroes. So that's the one issue that living card games have. And this isn't just a Marvel Champions thing. This is any of them. As the cycles, as they progress through the game, they learn new things and they add new things and they don't go back and update the old things for business standpoint. And it would really penalizes the fans of the game. That's number one. Number two, here is another issue I have, and this is again a revenue issue with Fantasy Flight and the way they do things. Like if you go and look at the core box, which has all these super cool fancy dancy heroes on the front cover, and you're like, oh, all excited for it until you realize some of these heroes don't even come in this box. You have to buy them separately. And the ones that actually come in the box are, of course, like the non-bestest of the group, if you know what I mean. The heroes they choose to put in the box. Like, here's the box that comes out, and it's a new expansion coming out, and we're going to include, and they give you, 2 heroes. In this case, the heroes that came in this one was Hawkeye and Spider-Woman. Okay, so I hate to say this, but because I don't want to sound like I'm prejudiced, but Hawkeye is one of my favorites, so good for that. But Spider-Woman, I had never ever in my entire lifetime. I'm not a Marvel champion or a Marvel nut, so I don't know everything about Marvel and everything, but I had never ever heard of Spider-Woman, and they included her in the box, and the reason they did that is so that they can then take all the other new heroes and sell them as an expansion pack. And, because they know a lot of people are just going to, I'm going to buy the box. If I can get all the good heroes, then I'm not going to buy all the expansion packs. And so this is their marketing ploy, which, again, they put the worst characters in here, and then they may make you buy all the expansion packs. So, again, it shows Fantasy Flight's lack of commitment to their players and their disrespect on their fan base by doing that. My opinion, of course. This is my review. If you want to do your own review, feel free. Here we go. Number 3. The tokens and resources. The tokens and resources in this game, I talked about the artwork being excellent. I talked about a lot of the positive things. Again, the tokens, I don't even know where my tokens are anymore because they're generic resources. If you watched any of mine, I don't even use them. I use dice and I use, other little tokens and stuff because the tokens that come in the game are just generic, they're nothing special. They're just, they're fine, they're serviceable, but it's like, why? They couldn't have put a little bit more effort into creating some decent tokens for you guys. It's a shame. Number 4. And this kind of goes back to, again, which box characters comes in. If you want to get in this game and you want to have, a good deck and you want to be able to use all your different heroes against all the different villains and stuff, you're going to have to purchase all of the characters. You're going to have to buy all the expansions because every expansion's going to come with extra cards. So when you buy a hero pack, not only does it come with a pre-built hero, it's going to come with extra cards. Some of the most important cards in the game come in some of the expansion packs. SPDR has some. And of course, they give these packs, these really good cards in the packs where they don't think a lot of people are going to buy the packs for the hero. Again, going back into how Fantasy Flight's business model does things. It is, it's expensive to get everything. Obviously, I do have everything, but I spend a couple $100 every 6 months buying everything and buying all the packs and, getting all the expansions. Each one of these expansion packs, I think, is like $35. Each of the hero packs is about $16 or $17. Usually you have 4 of them, one of these boxes, so you're talking like $200 every 6 months. So, and this game has been out since 2021, I think. So you're talking, it's going to be a good chunk of change. And again, you can say, oh, I don't want Spider-Ham because I don't care about Spider-Ham. But if you don't get Spider-Ham, then you don't get the extra the cards that are in his pack, which are super important if you're going to play Hulk or She-Hulk. There is a couple of the cards called, I'm trying to remember the name of them right off the top of my head. I can't remember them, and I don't have the box out that has all my spare cards. But it has the one that allows them, if you have 14 or more printed resources for hit points, then you are not stunned or confused unless you have 2 tokens instead of 1. I think it's called Indomitable or something like that. Can't remember the exact word. Anyways, you can't get that pack, or you can't get that card unless you buy the Spider-Ham pack or SBDR, one of those two. And I can care less about either one of those guys, but I had to get the pack because of the cards. And last but not least, you have, as we talked about, thousands and thousands of cards. There's hero cards, there's villain cards, there's all kinds of, there is literally, this is my box of cards that we use to give to the heroes, and they're, the different colors, the Justice, and this is just the box, one of the boxes that I have, that it has all of the cards that I use to build my hero decks. Here's the thing, more than 90% of the cards never get used except for in very rare situations when you have a rare hero that does something a little bit different, needs some special cards. There's a lot of cards that you can't play unless the hero has got genius trait or is an Avenger or an X-Men or whatever. So you can't use every card with everyone anyways, but there's also that whole, there's a lot of cards like, oh, first aid, I can heal 1 hit point or 3 hit points or whatever it is. It's like, really? That is not a very good, resource card. It's not very good. There are a lot of cards like that. There's a lot of cards in here that you will never ever see once you take them out of the box. Once you put them in the box, they're not going to come out. It's just not going to happen. So is that a good thing or is it a bad thing? Some cards obviously are good. You're going to use those cards all the time, or most of them. Like Nick Fury, I use Nick Fury in almost every deck. I use Professor X in almost every single deck. I use the double resources in every single deck. So there's 6 cards right off the bat that I use. You only build most decks that have about 25 extra cards. So of those 25, 6 of them have already been used with those staple cards. There are cards that are staples, and then there are cards that, like I said, you'll never use. You'll never see some of these cards. There are probably cards in this box I completely forgot about because I'll never see them again. All right, so what do I think about this? I said a lot of good things about Marvel Champions. I said a lot of bad things about Marvel Champions. What's the verdict, Jester? What are you thinking? What do you want to say? Well, here's what I would say. I have a love-hate relationship with this game because I don't like the business practice. I hate how they handle this game. I hate how you have to buy everything. You have to either jump in full bull and get everything so you can build all these special decks, so you have all the cards. I don't like that stuff, to be honest. I think it's not right to your customers. I don't like how Fantasy Flight does their business model. I don't like how it's a living card game and they don't go back and they don't update some of the old heroes. It's just not right. But with that said, there's not a lot of really good games that play solo really, really well and multiplayer really, really well. And this game plays both really, really well. As much as I hate this game, as much as I would love to just tear up all my cards and say, never again, I'm never, ever playing this game again. I really, really like playing this game. I think it's a great game. It's a great design. There's tough decisions we talked about. And you really have to think about what you're doing, how you're doing things, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm actually surprised, because of I think the negatives are a serious negative, but I think the positives are very, very positive. So because of that, I'm going to rate it a 92 out of 100. My verdict is it is passed with flying colors. This game is awesome. It is a very good game. You're not going to find many games that are going to fit the bill of playing a superhero and having each of the heroes play differently and each of the villains playing differently and having a lot of fun trying to learn the different heroes and dealing with all the different power structures and different cards in the game and everything. But I am going to Jesterify this game. I'm going to give it one Jesterify. And I will say that, yes, it is worth your time. It is worth your money investment. Should you get everything? That's up to you. I think you should at least get some of it. Try it out for yourself. Get some of your favorite heroes. Try them out. See what they're like. And see how well it plays for you. Try solo one-handed. One hero versus one villain. Try that out. Try two-handed. Try two heroes versus a villain and see how that goes for you. Try with your buddy. Get your buddy to try it out and play it. You will probably find that you like it one way or the other. I like it solo. I like it solo two-handed. And I'd even like it solo or multiplayer as well. Unfortunately, it pains me to say this, but the business model is inappropriate for Fantasy Flight. It's abusive to their customers, but what are you going to do? You can either not buy anything and not get it, or you can live with it. And unfortunately, if there was a better alternative out there, I would do it, but there isn't. So Fantasy Flight gets my money. Marvel Champions, the card game, 92, awesome. It has issues. It has problems, and if you don't like those problems, stay away from it. But in reality, it's a really good game, really fun, and it will take you years and years to get through all the content they have, and they keep coming out with more. So that's the review of Marvel Champions. Let me know in your comments down below what you thought, and what your thoughts are on the game. If you play it, how much have you played it? What your thoughts on my pros and cons are, and if I missed any pros and cons, let me know in the comments section down below. Thanks everyone for your view, and don't forget, if you enjoyed this, like this video, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. We're starting to do more and more reviews back on the channel now. I used to do Jester's Judgment, and we used to lump 3 or 4 games. Now I've decided to give each game their own episode, so we started a new link to our Jester's Judgment. So in this one, bam, it's going to get Jesterified. I hate to say it, but it is. It's a good game. Thanks for watching. See you guys next time.